Hello everyone, welcome back to another Flesh and Blood video. This time, we're going to be talking about Oscilio in the Blitz format. I've had to re-record this video like 4 times because my audio is messed up, so hopefully it's not messed up this time. With all of that, let's get started. Oscilio is going to be the hero. Of course, this is Blitz. This list is a deck that I designed to play in Skirmish this season. Ailio, one of my favorite heroes outside of Rosetta and just in the game in general. So I wanted to suit him up for the Blitz format. Of course, we all know what Oscilio does. I don't really need to read him. For our main equipment, these are all equipment that you'll see in the constructed version of Oscilio. Volzar the Lightning Rod is just straight up his best weapon. Flash of Brilliance is really good because we're on a lot smaller of a life pool, so having the consistency to bounce a sigil is really nice. The Blossom of Spring, because there's no way this game goes super late. Aether Bindings of the Third Age, because what other glove are you going to play? And Lightning Greaves, because we are still very much a Gone and a Flash combo deck. I know I normally talk about the main board after I talk about the equipment, but I do want to go over the sideboarded equipment. Since this is a Blitz video, it'll be pretty fast. Balance of Justice will come in versus the decks that draw a lot of cards, plain and simple. Brute is very strong in Blitz, so Balance of Justice can help deal with them just a tiny bit. And then Shock Charmers and Spellfray Tiara for our other wizard matchups, because Blaze is definitely scary considering they can kill us realistically whenever they want after like turn 2. So we do need the Spellfray or the Spell Void to play around them. Next, let's take a look at the main board. Pretty much all the cards here, except for Sigil of Aether, are cards that I play inside of my constructed Oscilio list, but I will talk about all of them here just really quick. We're going to be jumping around a bit, so hopefully you can stay with me. Flittering Charge, Fry, and Gone in a Flash are just your staple Oscilio cards. I don't think I would play an Oscilio list without them. Fry is just a consistent 0 for 3 go again. Flittering Charge is just so easy to gain go again. And Gone in a Flash is our main combo piece. Lightning Surge is a good other lightning attack that if we end our turn with it in our hand, we can just arsenal it. It doesn't feel too bad to play it off of an embodiment of lightning either, so it's just a good 0 for 4. Entwine Lightning is a card I do end up cutting a lot of my games because I want to bring in Null Shock, but for Blitz it's probably a tiny bit better, so we have it at 2 copies still. And the last free lightning attack in our deck is Blast to Oblivion at 2 copies. Our deck is a combo deck built on Gone in a Flash, but Blast to Oblivion alongside a Sigil Brilliance and another instant can be sort of a backup combo to just draw a bunch of cards. So the 2 Blast to Oblivion is as important as ever inside of this deck. The last few attacks in this deck are 2 copies of Current Funnel because it just ups our consistency a little bit, as well as being a blue 3 block. 2 copies of Enlightened Strike because it's just so versatile. And 1 copy of Eclectic Magnetism because this card has some really good synergies with this deck, giving us Comet Storm off of blue, or a really good go wide turn using our Blossom of Springs if we need to play the Eclectic, giving us a higher value power attack. As well as it is 3 block, but it can be sometimes really hard to play in Blitz because of its 1 cost, especially in this deck, which pretty much every other card in the deck costs 0 except Comet Storm, of course, but you can't really play Oscilio without Comet Storm. Eclectic is very good, but it's only at the 1 copy. For our burn spells, we are on 2 copies of Comet Storm and Shock because this card just hits for such a high number, as well as being an instant we can discard and a 3 block. Etchings of Arcana, so if the game goes longer than the turn we play Etchings, we can get a Sigil back. Mind Warp for a bit of disruption. and only one copy of Destructive Aether Tide to fill out a 7th burn spell, as well as an extra blue. Finally, for our instants, we of course are on 2 Somersaults and 2 Discharge, just because they are the best instants that we can put in our deck at red. Our 2 Channel Lightning Valleys, because we're going to be eking through damage every turn, so drawing the card is very good. 1 Sigil of Solace, I don't think you really need 2, and it's just another instant that works with the rest of our deck for our instant synergies. Also, our opponent will think we're on an extra 1 if we show them 1, so that's still pretty good for us having this extra sigil. And it's not a permanent sigil, but it's still pretty good. And then 2 Blink, because it's really good on Gone in a Flash turns if we don't want to combo, or on any of our other turns if we don't have any go again. And then finally, we have our permanent sigils, our staples, Brilliance, Lightning, and Conductivity, all at 2, but we're also on a Sigil of Aether, just as a 7th sigil. I don't really like Sigil of Aether in Constructed. Sometimes it can mess up your channels, or it's just easily prevented and doesn't really do much, but here I think it's perfectly fine as a 7th sigil, especially because it causes a lot more pressure, since if they do take the 1 from this, it's pretty much 2 value because you'll get the amp 1. So a really nice tool to have, just as, again, a 7th sigil to make the deck a little more consistent. Same reason why we're on the Aether Tide, it's just a 7th burn spell, as well as both of them are blue. Finally, let's take a look at the remainder of the inventory. Null Shock is going to come in over in Twine Lightning versus the slower matchups that we can actually get to play Null Shock. Of course, Null Shock is realistically just a 1 mana shock, which is perfectly fine for Oscilio. That's still a really good card. And then Poison the Well is here versus any deck that wants to gain a bunch of life, because I figure a lot of people are still going to be on life gain stuff inside of Blitz, because it's really good and constructed. If you don't think you need the Poison the Wells, you can play any other tech card. I would personally say Snag, just because I feel like Nu is really good into this deck, although maybe she's not fast enough for Blitz, but with your equipment and Snag, you just shut her down entirely, and there isn't really anything else you can realistically tech against. I guess you could play a 2nd Sigil of Solace, and maybe another Sigil of Aether in the board if you realistically wanted to. But that is going to be the end of the video. Just a really fast one. Again, I've recorded this video like 4 times, because 1, I was interrupted, 2, my audio messed up. So hopefully the audio is not messed up. For this one, I actually did record it in separate clips, so it wouldn't be too bad if the audio messed up. But that is going to be the end. Not sure what we're going to do next week. Maybe we take a look at the new heroes from the Hunted, but we don't know if that's... I don't think we know if that's all of the constructed heroes, since we have all of those Arachnes to see, but we don't know how those are going to work. Maybe I'll just do one on the Draconic heroes and the 1 Arachne that we do know, just to make it a little easier. But we also need to see their weapons, because there are heroes that are both based on their weapons, so we do need to see them. So with all of that, though, that is going to be the end of the video. Just a quick one, because again, this is Blitz. It's not the most intricate format. I will, of course, make the sideboarding notes for the little bit of sideboarding that there is. And with all of that, I hope you all have a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.